What's up, everyone? Thank you for checking out my channel, Pages of Ascension. I'm not going to call this a special read because, well, it's kind of not, I guess. So the reading I'm going to be doing today is primarily focused on life path, career progression, and basically just tuning in to collective energy based on profession, to, I guess, help get the message out to the person who needs it about their life path and if they are where they are supposed to be at this point in time in their life, which I am a big proponent of. Yes. You are where you are supposed to be at this point in time in your life, and if you're not, the universe absolutely lets you know, doesn't hesitate in letting you know. Matter of fact, it pretty much uppercuts you to let you know. But in any case, we were going to be focusing on life path and calling for this reading, and I'm going to kind of freestyle it. Like, this is the reading initially that kind of inspired me to start my own YouTube channel, even though I haven't posted one of these readings yet, because it's one of those things where we will commonly choose a job or choose a path because family said that that's what we're supposed to do, or society says that that's what we're supposed to do, but it may not necessarily resonate with us. It may not necessarily be what we want to do. So, and one of the things that I find interesting just in the people that I interact with on a daily basis is I have a lot of face-to-face customer service experience. One of the things that I notice is that the people who are happier with their jobs, like with their profession, tend to be happier overall because they don't feel like they're making any sacrifice for anything. They actually enjoy what they do. And there is that saying, when you find, what you love to do, you really don't ever work a day in your life. And I am a firm believer in that. So let's see who this reading is going to be for today, profession-wise. And no idea how long this one is going to be, so you might want to grab some popcorn or a beer or whatever, as I like to go pretty deep with these. And when I do start finally offering personal readings, this will be a type of reading that is available, so that's something to keep in mind as well. If this fits your fancy and you're interested. Oh, no, too many. Just one. Oh, and it gives me two. It never fails. Okay. So we have writing and sensitivity. Okay. So interesting. Sorry, I got some stuff coming in. Okay, so the person that this is meant for is someone who's already a little sensitive or intuitive, as I like to say. They can pick up on subtle energies. This is probably someone who's an empath. And this writing card is saying that sensitivity is going to can directly lead you into the profession that you need to be in. There's a story that you need to tell that can help a lot of people. And this is kind of what Spirit is telling you, is to use your sensitivity to relay this story so that it can help the people it's supposed to. So let's go ahead and dig in a little bit further and see what else we come up with for this. So yeah, there's been quite a few times where I play with this deck for myself, and I'll end up getting that sensitivity card. And 9 out of 10 times when it's coming up, it's telling me that there is some type of habit that I'm still holding on to that I need to let go of because I'm too sensitive for it. Perfect example for this is, like, I don't know, let's say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I used to be a bit more of a drinker. And now, like, even having a glass of wine is a stretch. Like, it's very, very hard to consume alcohol now. And a lot of that happened based on going through this entire process of ascension or dark night of the soul. Put whatever label on it that you want. But basically coming into my own and recognizing, what things are still good for me to be pursuing and still engaging in, and what things are not. And when you start tuning into your intuition, this is something that will naturally happen. Those things that don't serve you will start to fall away whether you want them to or not. And the more that you try to keep them around, the more they actually end up backfiring and ultimately causing a little bit of trouble that you don't necessarily want or need. So that is also something to keep in mind. Okay. So tell us about this writer that we are connecting with, this sensitive writer. Let me get one more before we flip over. Sorry, trying not to shake the table. Super tiny space. Okay. So we have the World. Ooh. And Three of Swords. So, heartbreak, and endings. So I feel like, oh yeah, definitely. Okay, so Queen of Cups is at the bottom of the deck for this go around. I'm not going to pull her out. She's staying in there, and we'll see if she actually flips up anywhere else throughout this reading. But what I'm specifically getting from this is that if this is resonating with you, you've just had a major ending. Potentially a major heartbreak, whether this is romantic, whether it's in a job, whether it was, some type of secret coming out, because for whatever reason, I'm picking that up, even though that's not on the table. Either way, some kind of major ending has happened or some kind of enlightenment has happened. What's interesting about this World card to me is, like, if you look at this doesn't look like an unhappy person because of an ending. So I feel like just because there was some heartbreak or some deception, and I'm getting that very, very specifically. And not just because it's the Three of Swords, that's just kind of what's coming to me. But in any case, this person, they're okay. As I like to say, they're Gucci. This is someone who's Gucci, despite this heartbreaking situation. And I feel like how this ties into writing and sensitivity, you saw this coming. Yeah, I definitely think that you saw this coming. And you have a way with words. So it's like, going through the situation has enabled you with, how do I explain this? It's enabled you with a degree of wisdom that you're meant to pass on to other people to help other people get through a similar situation. So let's see if we can come up with a little bit more information. Oh yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we got the Judgment card. I consider the Judgment card to be a slightly more powerful card than the World card, just because this is straight up divine intervention. Like, the divine has stepped in and said, okay, enough of this nonsense. This is how it's supposed to go. This is what we need to do to get you on a path. Here we go. But then again, you've got the Nine of Pentacles card, which is, I don't care what deck it is, this is my sitting pretty card. So, verdict is in. A major ending has happened that was divinely timed. It was meant to happen, and it might be heartbreaking. Like, it might hurt. Actually, I'm going to go so far to say is it hurts a lot. We've got the Page of Cups here at the bottom of the deck. So you can definitely be all in your emotions about this. But at the end of the day, you're good. You're going to be okay. You're going to be just fine. This card does not come out for me ever as a reader unless it's to confirm that you're going to be just fine. Regardless to whatever other energies that are going on around you, regardless to how anxious that you might be feeling or unsure that you might be feeling, you're good. You are exactly where you are, exactly what you're supposed to be doing, exactly what you're supposed to be learning. So this could even be speaking to someone who is already in the writing field, and perhaps you're not writing about the subjects that you're supposed to, and maybe that's where the block is. It requires you to be very sensitive. It requires you to dig deep into yourself to share the information necessary to help other people. And that's something that can be very difficult to do, especially when talking about yourself. Yeah, okay, let's see what else we can pull out. Get a couple more cards before I start moving on to some of the oracles. I think this one is probably going to be a little quick since it's the first one. And remember, this is a general energy. So this is not going to resonate with everyone. Actually, I imagine this is probably going to resonate with a very few. So we have the Fool. Yes. Doubled down by the 10 of Cups. Okay, so yeah, like I said, you are sitting pretty. This ending that has happened with the World and the Judgment, this is supposed to happen so you can have your new beginning. You're on to bigger and better things, my love, and your happiness is at the end of that rainbow. You have nothing to worry about. So specifically, if you are in or looking to be in or are attracted to the writing profession, this is your confirmation that that's where you're supposed to go. That you might need to change up the subject matter in which you're writing about in order for this new beginning to take place. So for example, say you're like a journalist or something and you're on the crime beat. You're too sensitive to be writing about that stuff because you feel every single piece of what you read and everything of what you're researching, the stories that people are telling you. It literally breaks your heart and puts you in just a very ick space. And that's because you're too sensitive for this stuff now. And this is of course not knocking anyone's profession. Like, please don't ever think that. It's not knocking people who do crime beats or write about crime or have to report on crime or anything like that. But just using this as an example, for someone who's very sensitive, interacting with that particular energy is very low vibrational, and it's going to seriously affect you. It's not going to make you feel very good. It's going to make you feel kind of bleak. But what I'm seeing on my table right now is either through a promotion, which could be possible. It's something that's kind of floating up there in the nethers and isn't necessarily on the table. But whether this is through a promotion, whether this is you taking yourself out of this profession, whether this is, your editor or whatnot coming up to you and saying, hey, we've got this assignment. It's about something else. You're writing about people at the old folks home, or, go write about this, environmental thing that's happening. Whatever it is, pick your poison there. Okay. It could be that boss coming in and saying, hey, I've decided, I think it's probably time to take you off this crime beat. I've had a lot of time to think about this, and I think that you'd be better elsewhere in writing about a different topic. So I want you to start doing that. Okay. Either way, this new beginning that comes in regards to this writing and tuning into your sensitivity, it brings you your new beginning. And it brings you happiness. So don't resist it. Don't fight it. This is all happening for a reason. You don't get the World and the Judgment card. Oh my God. Actually, no, scratch that. You don't get the World, the Judgment card, and the Fool in the same reading if this is not divinely guided. So that's something I want you to keep in mind, okay? So let's go ahead and move on. I'm pulling out, and Two of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so this also could be an offer of a second job. So you're ending one job to go to another job, but that might be for a very, very few people that I'm picking that up on. Basically, I think this is kind of like a switch up. You're going from one type of writing to another type of writing, or you're going from freelance writing to actually writing for someone or on a specific topic. But either way, you need to make sure that it resonates with you, that it's something that isn't draining your energy, because the fact that your sensitivity is becoming heightened, because you are ascending, because you're doing the internal work, okay? Oh, they're jumpy. So these cards that I'm shuffling right now are Angels of Abundance. And I really like these just because they're, oh, that's very interesting. Okay. I find them to be very enlightening. There's certain patterns that I've noticed that come up with these particular cards. So what I'm hearing is volunteer. You need to go volunteer. Go volunteer. Go volunteer. But another thing that, okay, so let me just explain the card. So donations, tithing, and charitable work is the card that came up. And it says to give joyfully to organizations and people that spiritually support and inspire you, and know that your generosity will be returned to you manyfold in miraculous ways. The time, supplies, money, or other resources you donate will ensure that your positive energy multiplies. So again, go volunteer, go volunteer, go volunteer. But very often when this card appears, especially in this particular type of reading, it's saying that you need to clean out your life. You need to clean house. And it's very, very time efficient considering that we're heading into spring here very shortly, the spring equinox. We're currently in a Mercury retrograde as of the time that I am recording this video. And that's a great time to go back through your stuff and get rid of the things that no longer serve you, or that have negative energy attached to them, or just energy that doesn't make you feel good, you know? So yeah, they give joyfully to organizations and people who spiritually support and inspire you. So at the end of the day, it's kind of the way like the law of attraction works. If you have a bunch of stuff in your space and you keep accumulating more and more and more, you're going to notice, especially if you're highly sensitive, okay, especially if you're sensitive, that you'll start to feel drained. You won't have energy to really do anything, even though you'll want to. The initiative will be there, but the energy won't match the initiative that you have. And I've been through this. Like, I, to some extent, am still going through this, because even though people say it's said to not get attached to things, to objects, it happens. You know, otherwise there wouldn't be people who could touch an object and be able to tell someone's entire life. Like, our energy can be poured into anything and everything around us equally has energy. So if you're holding on to things that don't contain an energy that serves where you are in this point in your life, or for where you're trying to go, that does not meet your goals, that's going to block you. It's going to block your abundance. It's like law of attraction 101. Okay. If you're curious about that, look it up. Make sure you've got some time, because it's a bit of a rabbit hole topic. But at the end of the day, that's something that you need to do. That's what's going to help bring in this new beginning, is getting rid of some of the things that you've got hanging around in your life that just, they don't have a purpose anymore. It's a matter of holding on to them because they're comfortable. Sometimes the things that are comfortable don't necessarily serve our growth. You know, point blank period. So, okay. And the next card that we've got is Power of Prayer. Now, I recognize that there's probably some people who are going to run across this video who are, you know, they're atheists, or they're not particularly religious, or they, you know, don't believe in one God, or they believe in many gods, or no God, or, you know, whatever floats your boat. Think of prayer as sending a request to the universe. Okay? Or at least this is how I look at it. So it's like that saying of when you can't quite, you're stuck in the middle of a situation, right? We're just going to give an example. You're stuck in the middle of a situation, and there's literally nothing you can do to affect the outcome. There's nothing you can do to move it along. You're just sitting there. You're in the middle of the freaking boat without a paddle. You know, it's very easy to freak out because you have no control at all over what is going on. And that can be an incredibly frustrating and vulnerable place to be in, okay? And what this card is saying is that if you take that anxiety and that worry and that concern and that need to control, and you transmute it. Okay, wait. If you, let's say, release those thought forms, by releasing those thought forms and saying, you know what, I recognize that in this situation, I have no control. There is nothing I can do, you know? And yes, I am concerned about it. These are the reasons I'm concerned about it. But I recognize that the universe has got my back and things are going to land the way that they are supposed to. That's prayer. That's one version of prayer. I'll put it like that. Some people prefer to get on their knees. Some people consider it to be meditation. Some people consider it just sitting there and talking out loud like they're talking to spirit. It's whatever floats your boat, however you do that, however you connect with what you believe to be your energy source. Okay? That is what that's saying. There is power in that. There is power in being able to release the things that you literally cannot change. There's actually a prayer for that. So recognize that divine guidance, whatever you consider to be divine for you, is in play here. That is just doubled down by the fact that we've got the world card, the judgment card, and the fool card. But specifically because we've got judgment card, like, spirit is on your side with this situation, even though it's not going to feel like it. I feel like this could almost be an abrupt ending as well, but you're going to be okay. Just hear me out when I say you're going to be okay. Follow the prompts that you have to write it all down. Excuse me. Write it all. Okay. Oh, excuse me again. Okay, so one of my confirmation signs is burping when I'm doing stuff, and it's really gross, and I'm going to try really hard to never burp in you guys' ear, but I'll apologize ahead of time if that happens. So write it all down, you know, and if your fingers can't move as fast as your mind, buy yourself a tape recorder and talk into it. That's actually something that I do because things come in so quickly that I don't want to lose them, and it's always really amazing insights when you go back and listen to it. But either way, whatever you're feeling prompted to write about that kind of gets you in your core and makes you very, very sensitive and makes you feel very vulnerable, do it. The more of a challenge it is for you to tap into that energy, do it, because it's going to not only heal you, but it has the potential to heal others as well. Otherwise, you wouldn't feel the call to actually go out and do this. Okay, so I'm going to pull a Soul's Journey card, just one, and we'll see what that says. And then we'll pull the Oracle of E to see what the energy of the Creator has for you. So these particular cards I consider the Soul's Journey, the ones that I've got in my hand right now by James Van Praagh. These are actually freaking awesome. But one of the things I consider these cards, it's like I'm talking directly to higher self or talking directly to guides or my guides, trying to figure out where I'm at on my journey, why I'm there. So often when I pull out these cards, that's kind of what that's for. And I thought that they would tie really good in for this type of reading. So let's see what they've got to say. Relationships. Okay. So it says, I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. So this also could be, and I'm not seeing people in this reading per se, but it could be that there's certain people that you need to cut out of your life because they're blocking your abundance. You know, oh wow, and things are flying everywhere. They're blocking your abundance. They're hindering your sensitivity. It could be certain habits that they have just aren't resonating with the energy that you're trying to embody. And I gotta tell you, from my own experience, that is hard to do, but sometimes you have to step away from people, no matter how much you love them. It doesn't matter if it's friends or it's family. It could be a job. It could be a neighbor. It could be a neighborhood. It could be a home. It could literally be anything. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't resonate with you, if the people that are around you aren't encouraging you and pushing you to be the highest, best version of yourself, then these are people that have no business being in your life, because we all want to be the best versions of ourselves, and our relationships reflect that. So look at who you have around you. See if there's any patterns in the people that you have around you. And then you need to reassess whether or not that is an energy you want to be embodying. If that is an energy you still want to associate yourself with. Okay? All right. Oracle of E. This deck is so cheeky. I don't pull it out very often, but super, super cheeky. Always has just the right thing to say. I love it. So for this one, I am going to read out of the book because of the fact that I don't use them that often. And, you know, why reinvent the wheel? The messages are good, so. Brand spanking new. All right. I like it. So for those that follow numbers, that is a number 9. And it says, you know how it feels after a fresh rain? Everything is pure, clean, washed to its precious, beautiful core. You just want to stick your nose in the air and take a big whiff. That's your life right now. There is not one blemish, not one flaw. It is a perfect 10. Hell yes. Perfect 10. 10 of cups. Okay? So another storyline that I'm actually getting is that if you are, like, again, if you're already in the writing profession, say you just started a brand new job and it involves a lot of writing, you're Gucci, baby. This is exactly where you need to be. You got the 9 of Pentacles on your side. And hell, Spirit is saying, brand spanking new, you are exactly where you need to be. You are exactly where you need to be. Don't question a damn thing. Don't let anybody make you question anything. And check your relationships, because there could be people around you who actually do not mean you any good. Okay? So on that note, thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure to do this reading. It turned out beautifully. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Definitely let me know if this video resonated with you. I love doing these types of readings. I feel very called to help people find their calling, if that makes any sense. So yeah, definitely check back on Sundays. That's where I do my readings by element. You can also follow me on Instagram at Pages of Ascension, where I pull out some dailies for you using animal oracle cards as well, and chakra oracle cards. It's pretty rad. Got a nice little family going on over there. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon.